Next up, we have Joe Collins III.
Who?
He's 13 years of patriotic service with the United States Navy. Instilled in him a strong sense of duty, commitment, and leadership. As some of you know, he grew up, his formative years were in South Central Los Angeles, and that has braced him for a new role into public service. And so he's running for a U.S. representative for California's 43rd Congressional District, seeking to be the impact voice of change for his beloved community. And a few things about Joe. So he saw it all when he was living there. I mean, his family was affected by a drive-by shooting. He's seen the unsafe gang activity, alarming high crime rate in South Central LA, rampant homelessness. I mean, all the things that you can see in a bad inner city in America, Joe has seen in his life. And to this day, his mother lives now in Dallas, Texas, where she teaches today. And so Joe, welcome. Thank you for coming out, sir. And thank you for stepping up and running.
I'm going to move this. I'm short. I don't like podiums, right? So, you guys do the short stick, have me come here and speak, because I'm going to take you on an emotional roller coaster, right? So emotional, you might think I'm a narcissist whenever I leave. And I tried this last night. I'm going to do it again. I'm gonna tell you my speech, right? You're gonna get the best 12 minutes of your life. You're gonna like me. I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm gonna piss you off really, really bad. Then I'm gonna make you clap. And then I'm gonna tell you to go to my website and give me all your money. That's how I'm gonna end my speech. Go to my website and give me all of your money. All right? Kevin, you're extremely brave for coming out and telling us your story about transitions. And Mass Resistance, you guys got one hell of a guy right there, Arthur. We have a lot of difference, but I'll tell you, when it comes to fighting for kids, you don't get no better than Arthur. If you look on anybody's social media videos when it comes to fighting for kids in California, Arthur will be there, city council meeting, he will be there at the supervisors meeting, he will be there at every single rally with his America cape on and talking about protecting kids. I've seen it myself, that's how he got my respect. I'm like, that was you fighting for the kids? Like, yep. I'm like, I don't have nothing else to say. All right. We're running against Maxine Waters in the 2020 election, and one of the biggest things I have to say for the Republican Party that we need to be more engaged in, and that's engagement. All right. And it was crazy because I seen a little hit on MSNBC. I don't know if you guys watched that, but they tell everything the Democrats are going to do. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't watch it because it's fake news and all of this stuff." Well, it's really opinionated, but when it comes to what Democrats are doing, you don't get no better than watching MSNBC. And I was sitting here because, you know, a lot of people were echoing the sentiment, do not invest or donate to Republicans or conservatives that are running in heavy Democrat areas. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life, because you can't win with just rural America. I mean, Donald Trump did it and he won once, and then unfortunately, you know, according to popular opinion, right, he didn't win the second one. And when I watched MSNBC and I watched how the guy broke it down, Democrats control the areas of the United States that has the most dense population ever. Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City, which is a complete mess. Houston, Dallas, Texas.
Chicago, Austin.
You guys keep naming them. Come on. You're helping me now. You're helping me, right? So all of these cities are controlled heavily by Democrats because Republicans don't go there. And it's not a black or a white thing, because I say inner cities are urban America, and there are white people there, Asians, Latinos, black people, we're all condensed in one area. But when I was watching the guy, he said, you know, Los Angeles County has a population of 11 million people. Now, that is the same as, what are the states? He named Idaho, he named Wisconsin, he named Wyoming, and a few other northern states. And if you put all those states together, it adds up to the population of Los Angeles, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the county that I'm running is a heavy Democrat district. And huge population, a lot of people there. We don't have a huge Republican presence there getting out, knocking on doors, and that's a problem. My campaign did. We raised $10.6 million in the 2020 election, and we put a huge dent in what will be considered a heavy Democrat district, right? We went from a D plus 54 to a D plus 24, and we've increased our number of registered Republican voters by a little north of 50,000, right? And the reason why it's good and bad at the same time is because of redistricting right now. And we have not seen a mock-up of the district. I know California lost a congressional seat, Texas picked one up, Florida picked one up, and I think somebody else picked one up as well. But we haven't seen a mock-up, and I think that's because we have a lot more new Republican voters. That's my district. I don't know about the whole entire state. But I'm just curious to see how they're going to divvy it up to segregate the Republicans from the Democrats. See, segregation still exists. If I say it, you guys be like, no, it doesn't. It does. Who's vaccinated?
Oh, no.
I got you. It's even segregated through the vaccinations. If you're unvaccinated, go over here. If you're vaccinated, come here. If you're vaccinated, have your vaccinated card. So it's just like the 40s all over again. But these are the things that we have to fight in heavy Democrat districts. But the one thing that I've gathered from this presentation from MSNBC, or MSDNC as President Trump liked to call it, is that he got the most votes for African American from any other Republican ever. But it wasn't enough because 87% of that vote still went to Joe Biden, right? He dominated in rural areas, but when it came to inner cities, when it came to urban America, I mean, he got whipped, and that's because we don't have that engagement into those areas. And you know, to my credit, this is where I'm gonna make you hate me, right? To my credit, in my race, I give Maxine Waters a lot of credit, right? I walked in front of her house, we did all of that stuff, and I mean, we really drug her. The first time I've ever heard Maxine Waters say my name, she said my name, and this was on national radio in South LA, 6 times in a 30-second commercial. And I was like, wow, she really hates me. So I give her a lot of credit for that. Another thing I give a lot of credit to is Joe Biden, right? I think personally, Joe Biden is heaven sent because a lot of black people voted for Joe Biden, and I kept trying to tell them, like, no, Joe Biden's a mess. He's a racist. I've been saying it for a long time. He's been racist. Look at every single bill or policy he's passed, everything he said, even when it comes to Haiti, he has always been a racist. Yes.
Amen, Joe.
Now my Democrat friends say, hey man, I think Joe Biden's a racist. Like, no, you think? If you've ever been in jail, it's because of him, you know, and I'm because of him. But he is heaven sent because now you have a lot of Democrats or a lot of people who are independent, even a lot of Republicans who didn't like how quote unquote mean President Trump tweets were, or how mean he was, or how brash he came off, because he is a businessman. They're starting to see, you know, I was kind of good having him in office. Energy independence, we didn't have to pay as much for gas. I have a pickup truck and I'm paying like $5.50 per gallon in California. So every 125 gallons out, you know, F you, Joe Biden. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys don't do that here in Texas, right?
It's not as bad.
Not as bad?
Oh, no, you got it.
But, you know, a lot of people are waking up and saying, you know what, Joe Biden is not who I thought he was. And I'm like, well, let's write articles of impeachment. And I'm a little torn on it because I'm like, well, if we continue to save the people who vote for Democrats in our community, they'll never learn their lesson, right? And we had to recall Gavin Newsom. We were heavy, my campaign was heavy involved in the recall of Gavin Newsom. The messaging wasn't right. People were asking about it. I'm like, unfortunately, Republicans are going to lose because the message does not resonate with people who are in urban America where they need the majority of the votes. Republicans are not there knocking on doors. They're in Orange County. They're in all the hot red areas where you're not going to get those votes. But we have to start attacking the inner cities, and we got to start attacking urban America because, I mean, yes, we still have a lawsuit out for it.
Starts with the elections.
See, here's the thing. We don't call it fraud in California because they'll kick it out. We call it election irregularities, right? we all know what it is, but we still have a case. And in our case, even Los Angeles County said, yeah, well, Maxine's been in office for a long time. Why do we have to verify the signatures?
We need term limits.
We need term limits. Maxine Waters would be a poster child for term limits. But even Los Angeles County was so ignorant, and this is Dean C. Logan, and his remarks saying, well, we didn't verify signatures because we didn't need to. And I'm pretty sure that's going on across the entire United States. Actually, this is a secret, don't tell nobody I told you this. There's a guy named George Gascon who's now the DA of Los Angeles County. And they want to recall Gascon, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting involved in that. Gascon is going after Democrat legislators because he's a progressive and he wants to maintain his progressivism. And he's going after Democrat legislators, mayors and everything to indict him. That's why Garcetti got his appointment and he's heading off to India. As a diplomat, you can't get indicted, right? But he's gone. And, you know, people call me like, hey, help us with the recall. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Well, why not? Well, one, he's crazy. And two, he's getting rid of all the competition. Well, he's letting criminals out and they're coming back to your area. I said, yeah, and they all vote Democrat, so I think they need to reap the benefits of the person who they voted for. They wanted the gas going, they're going to get crime. I'm not helping it. I'm done with that. But we do support the sheriff's department. But he brought a voter fraud case against a city council member in Compton after publicizing that voter fraud didn't exist. Crazy, right? But this is what we see on a regular basis, is the hypocrisy from the left.
George Soros, DA.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, George Soros and all these, you guys probably have more information on that than me. I see a lot of things, boots on the ground from that perspective. But, you know, I give a lot of credit to Joe Biden, and I give a lot of credit to all the Democrats who are imploding because, you know, even when it comes to things about this $3 trillion infrastructure reconciliation package that they're trying to push through, I mean, it's the worst thing since Democrats saying that they didn't have anything to do with slavery. and listen, I told the news this on a regular basis. I said, listen, you got to keep me on there. And I went to a Newsmax. Get together 2 days ago, and I told the guy, what's his name? Juddy walks up to me. He says, Joe Collins, man, I've seen so much about you. I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And he's like, no, it's great when you come on Newsmax and you're in the field. I'm like, all right, perfect. And he was like, but you talk a lot of trash. I'm like, that's why you got to keep me on there. See, I'm black. I can say a lot of things that white people can't say. So if you guys want something said, just email me. I'll say it. I don't have to. It got to be true, though. I got to be able to back it up, right? But I say a lot of things that white people can't say because if you guys say it, they're going to use that white guilt. If I say it, they're going to call me, I don't know, Uncle Tom or something. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't have empathy. I served Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2008 in Iraq, and I lost everything, my wife, my kid, my house, my car, all of that stuff. And they said, it's your fault. And I was like, I don't understand how it's my fault. Did you join the military? Yes. Did you marry that woman? Yes. Did you go to Iraq? Yes. Well, these are your decisions. I'm like, well, okay. If you put it like that, then I guess it is my fault. And I don't care about people's opinions because, you know, people used to tell me, hey, you got $1 million smile. And so I tried to buy groceries with it. I went to a grocery store, got a bunch of stuff, and I smiled. And she's like, what are you doing? It's $115. And I said, well, just charge it to my smile. She's like, cash or credit? And I'm like, okay, so opinions mean nothing because I can't pay anything with it, right? But yeah, you know, Joe Biden hadn't sent, and I think that, you know, we have to get out there. We have to start engaging with people. And one of the biggest things that I hear when I talk to Republicans, when I talk to conservatives, they say, well, we can't go out there because they don't like us. Well, we did a Trump rally in South LA, and then they turned around and did a car Trump rally in South LA and had 1,500 cars driving through South Central Los Angeles. And at first I was scared because my office was right in the heart of South Central. But after a while, we had people start coming in saying, hey, I've been a conservative my whole time, but if I say something, I'm going to lose my job. Or, hey, I'm a Democrat, I voted for Trump. Like, hey, I'm a Democrat, but I'm going to vote for you. Or, hey, I don't even know why I'm a Democrat. I was born like this. but these are things that we face in urban America, in the inner cities on a regular basis, and it has nothing to do with your skin color, your ethnicity, or your race. It has everything to do with engaging with people, but not necessarily pushing talking points, because the first steps of engagement is getting people listening and liking you. And after that, just agree with everything that they said and say, hey, I'm gonna fix that. And it works out pretty well. And you walk off knowing that you avoided a conflict, and they walk off knowing that, hey, the Republican actually listened to me. It feels pretty good. So, with that being said, you can engage, or like Scarface said, get in politics because you need people like me, people like Mr. Gomer here, Congressman Gomer. Louis. And I like Louis. The first time I started following Louis, I was watching C-SPAN. I'm black and I watch C-SPAN. I'm a regular caller on C-SPAN, and he was on TV, and he was like, well, Mrs. Pelosi, if you want to get rid of everything that's racist, then you got to get rid of the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party started racism. I was like, that's my guy. And so I've been following that. And every time time I see him, I remind him that he said that because I don't want him to forget. Because if he said it again, I'm gonna retweet it again too, and clip the video and put it out and let all the black people see it because they need to see that type of stuff. But you know, if you don't want to get involved in politics, if you don't want to engage, go to my website, joecollinsforcongress.com, and donate all your money to my campaign.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Remember, he's running for California 43.